are driven at a very young age. And I remember, what makes us so passionate about ACN is that I truly believe that what you're looking at is probably one of the single greatest business concepts and opportunities you're going to see in our lifetime. Now, why would I say something like that? Because there's a lot of ways to make money out there, but it's not easy to make money in a lot of concepts out there if you don't have a lot of money, or you don't know the right people, or you're not connected in one way or another. But what's so great about what we do is multiple things. Number one, anybody can get involved in ACN. It's an affordable business, and if you work hard, it has high-end potential. But what I especially love about ACN is that we're in the essential services industries. These are the largest and fastest growing industries in the world. When you think of wireless, the size of that industry, and the possibilities, high-speed internet, bundled home phone services, television, energy, gas, and electricity in the markets where that's deregulated here in the U.S. and around the world. Security and automation, payment processing, identity theft protection, emerging industry. These industries typically, you can't make money in these industries unless you're typically a very large company or a very wealthy person, because it takes a lot of money, millions of dollars to become your own service provider. What do I love about ACN? We've taken these huge opportunities and we've brought it right to the individual. And we love it because imagine not only being able to participate in these big industries, but again, I'm going to share with you how you can fully take advantage of getting paid, reoccurring residual income when people pay for the services they're going to pay for anyway. But when we started our journey, looking for what it was that we wanted to do, trying to figure out the road to success, I remember, early on I was probably about 20 years old, and I started trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And one of my first mentors said, well, the first thing you have to do is invest in your mind. And that, you need to have personal growth. So the first thing I started doing is like everybody does, I started reading the books, listening to the recordings of great trainers, everything from the psychology of achievement, maybe how to communicate, all the things that you need to know to personally grow. And I remember that when I would listen to all this stuff, it was so great. When the information was going in, you realized it was making sense, but at the same time, I was looking for the secret. Everybody, what's the secret? What separates those who do great things in life and become very successful versus those who don't? What's the difference? What's the secret? And I still remember going to trainings and seminars and reading the books, and I'm looking, what's that? I'm waiting for that one thing to click, where all of a sudden, wow, now I feel like I have that knowledge. And what I realized, I was overlooking some of the most powerful things. Because every time I read a success book, every time I've ever attended, let's say, a seminar on success, the first thing that was always spoke about was mindset, the power of how you think. And I just overlooked that. Of course I'm excited. Of course I'm positive. That was my attitude. But the reality was, mindset's so important, because if you don't think right, if you don't have the right mindset, no matter what you're taught, it's not going to be as effective for your success if you don't have the right mindset. So a lot of times you go to any training that ACN provides, any training that any of our leaders provide, the first thing we always talk about is mindset. Now, why it's important, because you're going to hear today, especially today, you're going to, by the time this event's over today, you're going to get incredible training on every aspect of the business. You're going to get the words that work. You're going to hear exactly how people are building their businesses when it comes to building teams, getting customers, the systems we use. But if you don't have the right mindset, those things are not that effective. So that's why we always talk with these simple things first. And so, like, for example, I'm going to cover a couple things here, but before we really kick off the training with some of our great leaders. But for those of you that are brand new and this is your first training, I'm going to remind you of simple things that you already know. But it's important to always go back to the basics. It's always to re-remind yourself the things that make the difference between those who are great and those that are average. But I always say to people, whether you're brand new, you've been in the business for 6 months or more, always go back and ask yourself a question. Where is your mindset at today?